So, I know that in a lot of my recent videos, I've been begging Capcom to give us a Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. But there is more to that than just wanting to relive some nostalgia and bring in new fans. The biggest reason that I want Battle Network to be brought to the current consoles, as well as seeing the rest of the anime localized, sub, dub, or otherwise, is because I think that the intellectual property of Rockman EXE may actually have a looming preservation problem. Let me explain. Ever since I got that Battle Network Collection repro card, I've been trying to find a copy of the first game, as I already own hard copies of the rest of them. At some point, my copies of Battle Network 1 and Battleship Challenge went missing, and I haven't found them yet. So I began to comb eBay and Amazon, and have yet to find a copy of Battle Network 1 for less than $100. I love this game series, but I don't love the first game that much. Also, for some reason, while I can find repros for some of the other games, I can't find one for Battle Network 1 by itself. Only on that collection multi-cart. Quick off topic, I just got back from a convention and found a copy of Mega Man Star Force 2 Ninja for $135. No DS game is worth that, Mega Man or otherwise. So, outside of emulators or bootlegs, if one wanted to play the first Battle Network game, what is the alternative? The Wii U eShop. But I don't currently own a Wii U, and Nintendo recently announced that they'll be shutting down the eShop for the Wii U and the 3DS in March of 2023, so this method of purchase won't be around for much longer. And in their words, they said that they currently have no plans to offer classic content in other ways. I understand that this is more so on Nintendo's front and not Capcom's, but keep in mind, all but 4 of the games from the Rockman EXE IP have been exclusively on Nintendo consoles, with the outliers being 2 on WonderSwan Color, and the other 2 being dumb phone mobile games. Anyone who has a Nintendo Switch Online membership will remember that currently, Nintendo doesn't offer a real eShop for previous generations of games on the Switch. You don't purchase the game, then download them for keeps. Now, it's a Game Pass-like system where access to these games is limited to those who have a membership as well as consistent internet access. Some of you may not know this, but even in this day and age, a large number of people, myself included, don't currently have internet services for our homes. This is one reason why I don't particularly like digital-only gaming. Eventually, those services are going to go offline, so download or not, these games aren't going to be around forever. More than that, we also have the 2 aforementioned Japanese-exclusive Rockman EXE mobile games for dumb phones that have yet to be re-released, and the download service for these has been discontinued as well, meaning that unless you had the right kind of phone and downloaded both of the games while they were still active, then they are lost to you forever. But circling back to my main point, if the Battle Network series is not offered on accessible, legitimate hardware or software, then this will leave players little choice but to emulate. We'll come back to this issue later. For now, let's change gears and talk about the anime instead. I've made mention before that out of the 5, let's call them seasons for simplicity's sake, only the first 2 were localized in North America. However, though Rockman EXE and Access were both translated into English, Access never got a home release, so if you want to watch the English version now, your only option is to either have DVR'd it yourself or find downloads of someone who did. These would be DVR recordings from pre-2010. This means that the quality of recording would be lower than optimal, often having glitchy pixels or issues with audio quality. But at least the first season got a home release, right? Well, that is correct, but the DVDs are becoming increasingly harder to find, and certain volumes haven't shown up on eBay or Amazon in months. It seems that volumes 6, 7, and 8 are currently MIA, and when they do pop up, it's for a short amount of time with a high price tag, and the only copy of volume 13 I've been able to find for Region 1 has shown up on Amazon Canada, but this seller doesn't ship to the US. To this day, we still haven't seen Stream, Beast, or Beast Plus brought to North America, dub or sub, and even the first season of anti-Warrior hasn't been updated with a Blu-ray release. More than that, Rockman EXE got a second, more faithful English dub for Southeast Asian countries. But, like Ghost Stories and Double Zeta Gundam, this is also basically impossible to find in its complete form. Even if you wanted to buy the original Japanese DVDs, you still need a compatible player for the disc, and I don't know if these would come with English subtitles or not. Compounding upon this, it also probably comes as no surprise to anybody that none of these series are available on contemporary streaming services here in the US. Even though, apparently, at one point, the English dub of the Mega Man Star Force anime was available on Hulu and Neon Alley, but have both since been taken down. Anti-Warrior is on Netflix for other regions, but the United States, Canada, Britain, and Japan, oddly, are absent from this list. The Mega Man Anti-Warrior manga by Ryo Takemisaki is still relatively accessible, as of the making of this video at least, but not all of his EXE works got officially released in English. Some of these extra works have gotten fan translations, and he also announced back in November of 2021 that he's working on a sequel to his Rockman EXE manga, but it's extremely unlikely that we'd see these get an official English release either. However, the main story for this manga exists in a functionally complete form and is readily accessible. To me, that's good enough. But there is another manga series for Rockman EXE that has not gotten an English localization, Battle Story Rockman EXE, otherwise known as Battle Story Mega Man Anti-Warrior in Europe, because this one actually got a French release. Currently, no English translation is readily available, official or fan-made. And now, I suppose it's time to address the question that's been lurking in most of your minds. Why not just pirate it? Emulate, download, or stream from free websites? Well, to some extent, given the current availability, if you wanted to experience these works and didn't want to have to shell out copious amounts of money for overpriced cartridges or discs, then that does seem to be the only answer. And that, in and of itself, is the problem. Japanese media companies have a very strong anti-piracy stance, and Nintendo has made very clear their anti-emulator stance for years. If you've been on the internet for as long as I have, you may remember that back in the day, it was possible at one time to go to hundreds of different websites to download ROMs like a madman. One could theoretically get the entire library for Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, and Mega Man all in one fell swoop. But after several lawsuits and cease and desist orders, several of these websites have been shut down or have taken ROMs off their site, even if they do still offer emulators. Oh, and those mobile games I mentioned earlier, so far they can't be emulated, though there are attempts being made. Nintendo also has a bad reputation of shutting down fan projects, and even Capcom has smacked down a fan remake of one of the EXE mobile games. The same problem plagues the anime. The full series of Rockman EXE, dubbed or subbed, is getting harder and harder to find, and most of the time, the best that you can get is a video with halfway decent image quality, but also with a Japanese TV timestamp in the corner and usually a watermark from whatever website the person who posted this video ripped it from originally. And remember, most of these are fan-made subtitles, so sometimes things aren't translated properly, but that's the best that we can do when there never was an official release stateside. More than that, a lot of these sites are crawling with viruses. Wouldn't that be ironic? Your computer gets a virus because you tried to watch an anime about deleting computer viruses. However, dark times may be on the horizon. Some of you may have heard about the content creator Totally Not Mark and him having to battle against several copyright strikes from Toei Animation. Because fair use is functionally non-existent in Japan, some anime publishing companies are issuing takedown notices or lawsuits to people who make content using clips from their properties. Totally Not Mark did state that he is more or less out of the woods in terms of his lawsuits, but another, comparatively smaller YouTuber from New Zealand, who goes by Suede, he is being sued by ShowPro, and his channel will most likely be shut down in the next few months. Coincidentally, guess who just so happens to own the rights to the Rockman EXE anime? While this isn't exactly related to piracy, the reason this is worth talking about is because if these companies are allowed to shut down channels that use heavily edited versions of the clips, I imagine that in a darkest timeline scenario, all sites that host anime that are not officially licensed to do so are in danger of being removed. If they go after such a wide range here, just using the previous two examples, Totally Not Mark, who has over 700,000 subscribers, and Suede, who has only around 23,000 subs, then isn't it reasonable to believe that they would target websites that are deliberately streaming their anime illegally? I'm not here to debate the ethics of piracy or emulation. The point of this video is to bring to your attention that pieces of our beloved IP may be in danger of vanishing into the rift if something is not done on the end of the publishers and those who own the rights to this property. If possible, I prefer to have physical copies of whatever media I consume. Games, DVDs, Blu-rays, manga, albums, you name it. I'd rather have a tangible copy. So this means that if it exists, and I want to consume this media, then I'm willing to pay for it as long as it's reasonably priced. And there are countless people out there who share my position. Some people are opposed to piracy and emulation, for moral reasons or otherwise, but the bottom line is, a good number of Rockman EXE fans would pay to see the series return to its former glory. We would buy a legacy collection, we would buy Blu-rays of the anime, or subscribe to streaming services. We would buy a newly translated manga, hard copy or subscribing to an online reading service. We live in the age where it's not unusual for anime to be released in North America, but only be subtitled. The biggest thing holding Rockman EXE back at this point are the companies that own the publishing rights to the games and the anime. Silver lining, as far as the games are concerned at least, I think there could potentially be a very bright future ahead, contingent upon the release of a legacy collection. If Capcom follows the same route they did with the previous legacy collections, and it's released for Steam, then it is effectively available for a much longer lifespan. Even though I don't personally buy into the whole PC Master Race mentality, I do have to admit that due to Steam offering so many games from such a wide time span, all the way back to the days of DOS, this could preserve Mega Man Battle Network for decades into the future, even after the other console services eventually go offline and the cartridges or discs decay over time. If I understand how this works, at least. And if Capcom puts in the effort to make sure it doesn't have the same compatibility issues that the X Legacy Collection had. But as for the anime, its future is currently in a state to where I can't tell if it's going to survive the long haul or not. This version of Rockman EXE may sink into the abyss and be forgotten over time. There are several pieces of media, anime included, that never got an updated release, and only legally exist on VHS tape, such as Toei Animation's Puss in Boots movies, or the English dub of the Mobile Suit Gundam movie trilogy. I really don't want to see Rockman EXE follow this route and disappear into the void. This is my favorite IP, and I want to share it with as many people as possible. But what do you think? Is this too bleak of an outlook? Do you think that the rest of the Rockman EXE anime may one day get re-released or even localized? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the discussion around Mega Man Battle Network going, and show the companies that own the license to these series that the fans are still here and we're not leaving anytime soon.